Hi there, this is Natalie, and I'm coming with a new project for Scrapbook Nerd. This time, I'm going to use one of the new collections from Pinkfresh Studio to create a very springy layout. And this is Everyday Musings for Pinkfresh Studio, and it's just arrived to the store. There's a lot of new stuff arriving to the store. All the new collections are in. And what I love about this collection is that it's vivid colors, there's florals, it screams spring, and I want to take advantage of that to create this layout. For starters, I am using a cut file from Handipaper, and I love the fact that it's a really bold title covered with flowers. So very me. So what I did is I cut it out of white cardstock, and then I separated the letters, and I cut them off of one of the papers, one of the 6x6 papers. It is the bluish tone. And because the picture that I'm gonna document is one of my daughter, not my sister, wearing a blue top, I think it's gonna make everything go together really nicely. Now, for this particular layout, I did not want to use a white background. Well, this is still a white paper, but I wanted something that had all the colors that are in this collection, because I want to take advantage of a lot of them to back the cut file. But before I back the cut file, I'm going to add a little bit of mixed media to the background. And all I'm doing is I'm adding regular white paint. This is actually from Michaels. All I'm going to do is kind of use a feathering brush stroke just to haze the place where I'm gonna add the title. And all I'm using for this is I actually talk about this is an acrylic paint brush, and what the difference is that it's actually the bristles are made out of nylon, and they just are more of a sturdy bristle. So what it happens is it doesn't it allows for the paint to disperse in a lighter motion. What it means is kind of gives you a feathering effect on the background, and that's all I want to. I don't want to cover completely the background. I just want to create a haze, so it's gonna kind of create a little bit of a shadow where I'm gonna place the title, and that's just gonna take away those colorful lines and making it a little dimming that the tones on the lines just for when I place it. I don't want the background and the title to be competing. So it's a great way to haze the area. And also I'm stretching a little bit of the paint where the picture is going to be sitting. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry. It takes no time. Acrylic paint takes no time to dry. So this actually came together quite easily. And you're going to see that I'm just going to set it aside to dry. And I'm going to start working on backing the cutout. For this, you're going to see in a little bit that I am actually going to use the letters that I cut on my silhouette. And all I'm going to do is going to kind of straight back in the cut file. And what that means is I'm just going to add glue to the back of each one of the letters, just on the perimeter, on the outline of the letter. And then I'm going to glue the letter right straight onto it. And because I size them on the silhouette, this it's a way to actually save me having to fussy cut around each one of the letters, or you're going to see me do it too with the flowers. But I did it for the letters. It's just going to save me some time. Once I have all the letters back down, and one of the things that I like to do, I always talk about it, is I love to detail my letters. So you're going to see that I saved the center cuts of the P's and the R's. I think by adding the little center with the little, I don't know how you call it, the little bubble of the P or the R, it's just going to create the definition, and it gives it the more of a detailed look to this cutout. Once I have that in place, I'm going to go ahead and actually use the 6x6 paper pad and some of the 12x12 papers to back this cutout. And I wanted to bring a lot of color to the flowers. So you're going to see me that I'm going to use some of the purple, it's like a dusk rose tone of the paper, and also this red kind of corally paper. And I really love the color, but I didn't want to add lots of it because I'm not a fan of red. But I think because we're talking spring and a lot of florals, it is going to help. And once I back the flower, I realized that actually it's going to help me create my focal points. So you're going to see how I'm going to play with the colors, and I'm going to make that red one of the ones, the focal points, kind of create my triangle around that color. Once I have all the flowers back down, I'm going to go ahead and use the 6x6 paper pad and also the paper in the 12x12, the green tones, to back all the leaves. And then I'm going to use the little, there's a paper that comes with a lot of cups, and it has this yellow tone to it to back all the little flower buds. Now that I have that ready, I actually, like I mentioned before, my daughter is wearing like a navy top on this, so I'm gonna use this paper. It's like it has a navy and a really deep green, and it has the colors that I'm looking for that in the picture. So I'm gonna create a frame for the picture, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive behind it because I'm gonna make sure that the picture pops from the layout. I am also gonna use foam adhesive behind the title, and you're gonna see that once I glue it in place, it actually, the title is gonna stand out even more than the layout. It's because I used a different width or depth, I don't know, of foam adhesive. But before I glue everything together, I wanted to give it a little bit of a shadow. I didn't want to leave it completely white. So for this, I am going to use a little bit of Bicky Boutin art crayons and their stencil brush. And I'm using actually the light blue and mix it with some white. You're going to see that you're barely going to see it, but it's just going to create a soft shadow that's going to take some of the whiteness behind the background. Now, very simple. All I did is scribble the crayon onto a piece of acrylic sheet, and then I just pick up the color with my stencil brush, and then I go in a circular motion. And as you can see, it's a really light color, very, very light. And once I'm set that in place, and what I love about this technique is that you don't have to wait for it to dry. It's set right away as a dry application, so I can go ahead and work right away. So once I set my title in place, I'm going to bring the next shade of blue just because I want to bring more emphasis to the picture. But you're going to see that even though I put it's a darker shade, it's going to be hidden. So you're just going to see little pops of the color coming out from behind the picture. Now, because I'm using florals, I went ahead onto my Cameo and use a few cut files. These are from the Silhouette store to cut some flowers from the papers that I used to bag the flowers on the title. So all I'm using, this is a clay tool, and what I'm doing with the clay tool is I'm going behind each of the petals. I'm going to flip the flower and I'm going to go behind each petal kind of in a circular motion, and that's just going to create a curvature, give the curvature of a flower. And once I did every single petal, I turn the paper, or the flower in this case, back to the regular position and create, kind of go in the center, and that's going to create the concave curve of the center. Kind of think of where all the pollen is going to be seated. And then once I have that in place, you're going to see that I took some time to play with some of these flowers. I wanted to create a cluster at the bottom of the picture because there's a lot of white space on the side of the picture. So I played with a few of the stickers, a few of the ephemera pieces. It took me a while. This is what took me, I think, the longest to create, just because I wanted to play with some of the configuration. And here's when I realized that the red flower is actually going to create my triangle. So I have the red flower at the top in the title. I'm going to bring that tiny little red flower next to the picture, and that's already creating a line. Your eye is going to pop for the red lines. Once I'm kind of happy with what this is set, I'm going to go ahead and bring my Nuvo drops, and I have a few of them just to create the centers of the flowers. You're going to see that I use these are the antique ones and the clear ones, and I just add a little bit to dry in the center, and it's gonna give the center without having to add another color. And I'm just gonna embellish because I have the large title that is gonna be the focus of this, and also the cluster of flowers. It's gonna take very little embellishing. I'm gonna bring some accents of the yellow that I had, and like I mentioned before, I already have the red. That's what I'm gonna use to create my kind of my focal point. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of an accent to the top of the title. So I added a little bird in the pink just to balance the pink that I have in the picture and also in the spring title. And then I'm going to bring the sticker that says happy. So my title is going to read spring happy, and that's also going to balance the purple that I have on the title. So you're going to see that I'm kind of working, trying to balance in the colors around this layer. Once I have that in place, I'm going to add a few lines of journal. And then here is when I realized that I needed to add a little bit more pops of yellow to every single place, especially where I'm adding my clusters, and also that I need to bring another pop of red somewhere on the layer. And there's a lot of empty space on the negative side, on the left hand side of the picture. So I'm going to bring one of the labels, and this is one of the labels from the cardstock sticker that has the red, I'm going to say frame, and add a little sentiment in the blue just to bring the blue. Then I brought up the yellow flower from the ephemera pack just to bring some of the yellow. And then you're gonna see that I actually bring another piece of puffy sticker that has the red accent just to add some more pops of the color. I added a few more pops of red with some little enamel hearts, and that's about it. Love how this turned out. I love the colors. It just springs it's just very springy, very simple, and has such a lovely collection to work with. Remember to stop by Scrapbook Nerd. There's so many new collections arriving, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.